Gareth Southgate and Steve Holland have signed new contracts through to December 2024. Gareth Southgate marks 5 years in charge at the end of this month, has overseen a period of positive progress, you could say, guiding England to a FIFA World Cup semi-final, UEFA Nations League third place before securing the best men's performance in 55 years with the UEFA Euro final this summer. Now, the new deal means Gareth Southgate and his assistant Steve Holland will lead England to the 2022 World Cup, for which qualification was secured earlier this month, before taking the team through qualifying for the 2024 Euros, which starts in March 2023. Right, we've got some quotes in. Gareth Southgate himself saying, I'm delighted that Steve and I have been able to extend our stay in our respective roles. It remains an incredible privilege to lead this team. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mark, John and the board for their support, and of course the players and support team for their hard work. We have a great opportunity in front of us, and I know they and the fans are all excited about what this squad could achieve in the future. Sue and Stephen with me. Stephen, let's come to you first of all. I guess we've been expecting this news, but what do you make of the decision?
No, we have been expecting it. It was mooted last week that there was a potential extension. I'm undecided, and the reason I am is that I look at Gareth Southgate and I go, great opportunity in the World Cup, and I thought the game got away from England against Croatia, and the same happened in the final against Italy. Going 1-0 up, I thought that the tactics were then negative in the game, and Italy were there for the taking. When I look at Gareth Southgate, I look at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I think the same thing. I think nice guys. But then I look at the Premier League and I go, would they get jobs in the Premier League at other clubs, at top clubs? And I don't see it. Because I think what he does for England is he's an incredible front man. And I think he's incredible with the media, and I love the way he's dealt with the media and what he's done. Does he take England to that next level? I'm not so sure he does. Now, whether that's the staff that he brings in with him to make sure that he takes you to that next level, but I think as a front man for the England national team, I think he's unbelievable. But with the selection of players, I think he's great but the talent pool that he's got is incredible. But does he take England to win a trophy? And that's the big question. You're looking at me.
I can't work out, Stephen Warnock, whether you're a harsh man or you're just in a grump this morning. And
I'm harsh. I'm in a great mood.
I don't know which one it is, because that sounds harsh to me. And the thing with Gareth Southgate, with any human being, you learn by your mistakes. He would have poured over that game against Croatia. He would have poured over the Euro finals. And is there an argument, Sue, that was it his tactics or was it the players who just got to that moment and went, hang on a second, we got to drop? Because Harry Kane was almost taking goal kicks. He was so deep at one stage, wasn't he? So
yeah, it was probably a combination, I think, in the final. But I agree with Stephen in terms of I think he now has to take them to the next level, because I think this group of players is probably the most exciting group of players that we've had in a long time. And I think when you look at players who potentially won't even get near the squad, it's exciting, isn't it? I wouldn't like to be Gareth Southgate and trying to select that team from the players that England have got at the moment, the quality that we've got going forward. But I'm quite happy with that appointment. I think the fact that he has taken us to a semi-final, he's taken us to a final, you know, we've been able to follow that and really get invested in it. And I think that's what he's done. He's brought the fans back on board with England. You know, speaking to, sort of club fans that support Liverpool, Everton, Manchester United, they weren't really bothered about the international teams, whereas I think now the majority are. You know, they enjoy watching England and they enjoy supporting and going on that adventure, if you like. And I think he's brought that back. I think the players really enjoy playing for him. I think the fact that he's brought players in on form, I think is great. You know, we looked at Conor Gallagher, we were speaking about him last week. He's been brilliant for club. So Gareth Southgate said, right, come and get that experience. And I like it. I think it's good. I'm not in a grump.
No. Despite what happened to your team at the weekend, which is just incredible.
Yeah, it
should be. Let's talk. Pick up and delve into this a bit deeper. You have been in England camps. Is it fair to say that perhaps you were in actually one of the most difficult England camps in the World Cup in South Africa.
Yeah.
And what he has done there is he seems to have put all the club rifts, he seems to have got rid of that.
And that's what I'm saying. That's great. That's brilliant what he's done there. But I don't judge on that. That's fantastic to take an environment in. I don't care about that. Make sure that you win on the pitch. Make sure that you take it to that next step. Now, I think the contract is interesting because I'd like to have seen it off the back of the World Cup. I don't see why you have to.
Well, I guess the fear is if he goes and wins the World Cup, will someone come in and poach him and take him away if England were to win the World Cup?
If he wins the World Cup, he retires. Where'd you go after that? What, try and retain it? What's the point? You walk away. You haven't won a trophy since 1966. You walk away. As soon as you've won that,
would you not want a different challenge, though?
Yeah, to a certain degree, yeah, but that's part and parcel of it. And if the FA appoint Gareth Southgate and he wins the World Cup and he walks away, they go, that's our job done then. That's what we did. We employed the man to win us the World Cup. He's done it, and we give him the good grace and we give him a
but
nice handshake.
He walks away and the FA get nothing.
They do. They win the World Cup.
Yeah, but they don't. He walks away with it, and they've got to find a new manager then.
That's part and parcel of football, Rob. That'll happen whether we go to the World Cup now, and what happens now if you go to the World Cup and we get knocked out in the group stages or the first round? Everyone will be calling for his head, and then you've got a 4-year contract off the back of it, or whatever you've got, an extension, the 2 years, 3 years. You'll be calling for his head, and then there'll be an outcry of why did he sign this contract? I think often we're very quick to reward, but too long term. This is a World Cup that is arguably the best group of players that we have seen come together, and it is an unbelievable squad that he's got at his disposal. Well, just let him concentrate on that. And I know that people are saying it's a long-term vision and things like that, but he will be judged solely on the World Cup. It won't be after the World Cup, because if they do struggle, then, but like I say, he's got a big job on his hands.
I think it's nice to see managers, though, rewarded for doing well and having that long-term vision. And you look at the squad of players, there's a lot of young players in there. Yes, they've got experience dotted in and around, but you just think he can work with them and develop them, and you just think, how good will we be?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm positive about it.
Yeah, win the World Cup, walk away. Joachim Löw, Didier Deschamps. You don't have to, do you?
No, you don't have to, but look at Joachim Löw now. Look what happened to him after he won the World Cup. What's people's perceptions of him? He failed as a Germany manager after that. And that's the mindset of people. That's what they look at. They look at what's in the present. They don't look at the past. Walk out on a high if you win the World Cup.
Steve Holland as well. Do people underestimate his input into this England side? Because he's very key to all of this, isn't he?
Yeah, he's hugely key. And I think if you listen to any sort of interviews and you speak to sort of players in and around, they speak how important he is to the setup. And I think that's what you have to do as a manager as well, isn't it? You have to make sure you surround yourself with good people, people that you trust, people that are going to, I suppose, give you other ideas, fresh ideas, challenge you. And that's certainly something that he will do. So, yeah, I think he's key to Gareth Southgate and him moving forward and progressing.
So I'm just trying to find an analogy for what you're saying here, Stephen, is that, you know, when you learnt to swim, you managed to do sort of, you know, a width of the pool, and then suddenly you should go and swim the channel. Is that what you're saying? Because what you're saying is in the semi-final of the World Cup it went a bit wrong, and then in the final of the Euros it went a bit wrong, and he didn't learn from that. You know, you swim a width of the pool, then you swim a few lengths, don't you? And then when you're used to that, maybe you can go and swim the channel. It's progress, and there has been fundamental progress.
It's progress, but look at the group runs. Look at the runs of the way that it fell into place in both competitions.
Oh, all right. So now you're blaming other teams being poor for Gareth Southgate.
No, I'm not. But I'm saying it was a nice run of games going into the semi-final against Croatia. And as soon as we come up against great opposition, and we struggled. And then you look at the run in the Euros.
I don't. Beating Germany wasn't bad, was it?
Well, were they at their best?
Right.
Were they?
You beat Germany.
Team? No, but you've got to take them as they are. Germany was struggling. They were a poor team at the time. And you beat them. Did you beat them comprehensively? Not really, but you got the job done. That's okay. But it wasn't a Germany that was efficient and at their very best. This was a Germany that should have changed their manager and put Hansi Flick in quicker. And they should have come into that team quicker, because they were on the down and they were struggling. And that was a transitional period that Germany were going through.
All right, so you've got to turn back the clock. You've got to have Jurgen Klinsmann. You've got to have
give Gareth this deal?
Gerd Müller in there. You've got to have Gerd Müller. You've got Franz Beckenbauer playing. You've got to have them all in for you to be satisfied. He is in a grump, isn't he?
I'm here to give my view, Rob.
Sue.
Well,
Sue actually nodded her head at that when I said it.
Don't be dragging
she was
me
out
into
to
this.
stop.
Don't be dragging me into this.
I thought I missed all my fun with Ref Watch only being one part today, but I'm glad we're having some fun.
We are having fun, yeah. I just think what we've seen from Gareth Southgate, I think the development, the progression, like you say, semi-final, final, the next step now is, can you go and win something? So I think that's when we can start saying, OK, he's got the players, he's got the backing, obviously he's got that long-term project.
So does he have to win the final?
That's the next step. That is the next step.
Yeah, but when?
The World Cup.
Yeah, so if he doesn't win it, what's the next step?
Win the next thing. I think you've got to see the development of players. I think that's important. So I think seeing the younger players coming through, and we've seen how many young players have come into the squad, and he's brought those players in. Players from the Premier League that are playing well. So you want to see that. Then you want to see England winning something. And I just like the whole, I followed the journey, I enjoyed the journey, we got to the final, it was great to see.
And fans getting behind. There's no doubt in that at all.
And I think now teams genuinely do fear England when they play them, which I don't think we've maybe had.
Do you fear England, or do you fear the names on the team sheet, though?
Well, it's a combination, isn't it? It is a combination. And yes, he's lucky that he's got this squad. Yeah. But it's about, you spoke about the environment. You're not really bothered about that. It's what happens on the pitch. But I think by having a good environment,
to have a balance,
having a good environment, having the players happy, that's then going to go onto the pitch. And I think that's what he's brought, because these are top quality players. So happy environment, they go and perform on the pitch.
I think my point about that was that the environment means nothing unless you go and win something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no point in turning up and having a nice environment if you're never going to win anything, and I think that's the big thing.
Yeah.